Hi, my name's Mark. I'm one of the pastors here at Trillium. I've noticed that I'm not a very good judge of how long a project should take. I'm not good at timing projects, whether it's vacuuming a house or painting a room or installing something or traveling to a new location. I don't really estimate time very well. And it's had an impact on my life because often I grossly underestimate the amount of time it's going to take, and then I get kind of frustrated. And I noticed that when I was at the store, I picked up one of those programmable thermostats to install. On the front of the package, it says easy installation. And I'm going, yeah, right, I've heard that one before. Another of these programmable thermostats said on the front of it, 10-minute installation. And I'm thinking, yeah, right. So I get home and I open up the thermostat and I'm looking at it, and it doesn't look too difficult. The only problem is that I'm in a new house and everything's in chaos still. It's just in total chaos. And I don't even know where everything is. I'm looking around for tools. It's all in different spots. I can't find the drill. I find the drill. I can't find the drill bits. When I find the drill bits, I start opening up the thermostat, the old thermostat, but I need one of those little tiny screwdrivers. And I have a really nice set, but I have no idea where it is. It's in the mass of stuff that's being parked around in the garage or in the side split or in the basement. And I don't know where it is. And what starts off as an easy job becomes really complicated, really challenging. When I finally find some of the stuff, then I realize I've dropped off the installation booklet someplace in my travels around the house. I got to spend 15 minutes finding that too. And when I get the thermostat opened up and all that, it shows me these wires I got to attach up to the new thermostat. There's a yellow, a green, a red, and a white wire. And the yellow, it says in the package, I got to hook up to something, but I don't have a yellow wire. I have actually a blue wire. I have a blue wire instead of a yellow wire. And I was smart enough, this is a sign of my growing maturity, that to watch where the blue wire was, what it hooked up to. And it hooked up to the yellow wire installation. So I did that. But still, I'm thinking to myself, why can't I just have a yellow wire and make everything so easy? And this seems to be the same thing in life, in a larger sense. Relationships should be easy. Marriage should be easy. You just show a bit of compassion, kindness, love, mercy, forgiveness to your partner, and you can have a great marriage. That's all it takes. Just some basic human instincts in us of kindness, mercy, thankfulness, gratitude. The whole little things that we go about in life that we take for granted. Yet they're the source of a healthy relationship, or with our children, the same thing, or with neighbors or work colleagues. These relationships really should be so easy for us. And yet, so often they're not. Marriages are really challenging, and our relationship with our children are really challenging. Jesus was born in Bethlehem just a few days ago. We celebrated it at the church. And it should be such an easy thing for the Son of God to be born into the world. The incarnation of light and love and peace and joy, hope, forgiveness, born into the world, the incarnation of perfect love into the world. And you'd think that the world would be open-armed in embracing the incarnation of the Son of God, and yet quite the opposite. Mary gets pregnant in a very odd way, and that's a challenge in itself. And then all of a sudden, in that very moment, Caesar Augustus just happens to issue an edict that everybody has to go back to their hometown to be enrolled in a census for the purpose of taxation. And there's Joseph and Mary heading back to Bethlehem when she's pregnant. Late term, actually. When the journey itself has been really challenging, and they get to Bethlehem, and there isn't a room or a spot for them to actually rest in, to find lodging in. And in the end, she has to give birth in a stable, in a kind of shed out back behind a hostel. And you think, wow, this should be so easy, but it's so hard. On Christmas Eve, we had two lovely services, and they were both moments of wonder and amazement. And for a moment, we were able to stop and kind of embrace the stillness and the simplicity of the moment of the birth, something so elemental. And Christ is born into the world. And it says in the hymns that he didn't even cry, and they're trying to capture, I think, in that idea that not even a crying child intercedes into this moment. Crying children can make life challenging, make it difficult, but here it's just stillness and oneness. And then Joseph has a dream. Angel Gabriel tells him that he's got to hightail it out of Bethlehem. So he Herod has got it in for Jesus. He doesn't want a potential rival to the throne that he occupies. And he's out to do no good to the Christ child. And Joseph and Mary and Jesus, they flee off to Egypt. And the journey begins again, perhaps even a harder journey. One journey ends to Bethlehem, but almost immediately another journey begins. Isn't that kind of like life for us too? We journey to one place, it seems. We're looking for that moment of rest and peace and stillness, and yet immediately it seems we're shoved on another journey in life, and we're moving forward again to another place. You know, Herod is so committed to the resistance of his spirit, to resist God's breaking into the world, that he engages in something quite demonic. His capacity and power to resist is demonic. He sends out his soldiers and they massacre every boy under the age of 2 in Bethlehem as a way of trying to thwart the birth of the Christ. And sometimes our own resistance has certain demonic tendencies in them, and it destroys marriages or relationships. It destroys us as parents. It destroys our work relationships. It can destroy our health. You know, we're called in our journey to move past resistance. And resistance is such a sort of almost default setting for most of us in life. We just simply resist everything that comes at us. And sometimes it's good to resist, but a lot of the times we resist when we should never resist. We resist when we should yield. We should yield to the encouragement of our spouse or our spouse's feedback. Our children, we should yield sometimes to our children when they bring attention to certain things. We should yield to our work colleagues or to our neighbors or to circumstances unfolding and allow the journey to take us to where we need to go. You know, when we say Jesus is perfect, we say really what we're saying in that moment is that he has a total grasp of when to resist and when to yield. So much of Jesus' life is really journeying from one challenge to another, yet he yields to them knowing that God has a greater plan in place for him. Even when the cross is being faced, Jesus yields to it, knowing that God has a greater plan for him that will even burst the bonds of death. And God has greater plans for you in your life too. You don't have to resist the journeys that you're called to go on. The Creator walks with you. Embrace your journeys, yield to them, celebrate them, and you will find that at the end of it all, you have been brought to the most glorious place beyond your imagination. And heaven's ways will have fulfilled themselves in your life, and the Son of God will be born in you. That is the Christmas message we celebrate here at Trillium. That's the great celebration of life that I encourage you to go on with your life. Go in peace. Go in love. Extend God's greatness to the world.